setter.
We competing today. I see some ass off the edge. Get that mic up to put your shoulder on somebody. Dig, drop. You're finished. Hey, first down. This is weird. It works that side.
Yeah, all right, everybody. Here we are again. Following the Talking Jets panel, I'm GreenBean here at the After Hours Jets Fest. It is always a fun thing we do here late on Tuesday evenings. We kind of hang out, continue the conversation, a little bit slower, a little bit more, looser, if you will. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy Bearded is here, the Bearded V-Tier up there in Vermont. It's it's snowing down here, Bearded, and it makes me think of Vermont for some reason, which is nice. Happy to see Dick Chimney's burner in the house. Excuse me. I love that avatar, by the way. That's a good picture. Our buddy Braden from New Zealand is here. You're at the dentist. Oh, that's good. Well, everybody keep Braden in your thoughts and prayers while he's down there getting his teeth worked on. Somebody's in his mouth right now. Isn't that a weird thing that we do? We go to the dentist and somebody just goes in your mouth. What a weird thing. I know dental health, very, very important. I get it. I support it, the whole thing. I brush, I floss, I do all this stuff. But when you go to the dentist, the light, the chair, somebody's right in your face, you're in your mouth. Such a weird thing. But good luck, Braden. I hope it goes well for you. My buddy Tony's in the house. Oh, isn't that the best, Tony? What a great stat Tony brings up. And then you have the Steelers, 3 coaches since Woodstock. 3 since Jimi Hendrix's morning national anthem on the Woodstock stage. The Steelers have had 3 coaches. And here we are with 21 coaches. Shit. We've had 3 coaches in the last 5 years, or 4. 4 coaches when you got Aaron Glenn, Ulbricht, Saleh, and Gase. 4 years. We could say 5. Why not? Let's soften it a smidge. 5 years, we've had 3, 4. Isn't that, it's crazy to think of. Is that real? 4 coaches in 5 years. Oh my God. I hate us. The Jets, dude. You know what I mean? The Jets perpetually making it a world that we can be made fun of in. Isn't it the worst? Dante's in the house. Right on, dude. Let's go indeed. Matthias Simon, my buddy's here. Now who? Cooper Rush and Tyra? I know. What are you going to do, Matt? What are you going to do? Well, and we'll talk about it tonight. The era is over, everybody. The Aaron Rodgers era is, there's a roundabout chance that things change. Nothing's done till it's done. The fat lady, as they say, hasn't sung any music for us. But looks like it's over. And it's sad. It's sad not because he's a Jet necessarily, right? It's not like Aaron Rodgers has been here that long. But, man, the dream, the team we had, the defense we had. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and all the guys. And we get a Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks, 1 year removed from back-to-back MVP seasons. And we get nothing. A total of 5 wins and 4 plays. That's what we got out of the Aaron Rodgers era. And it's sad, dude. Mitt Flair's here. What's up, Mitt? Ant Jet's in the house. Good to see you. Mark from Asbury Park is here. Oh, this is rounding out to be a great crew. Yeah, man. John Carmen, Zach. You're not alone. I don't know if you're joking or not, but people have said it to me. Flight Right's in the house. What's going on with you, buddy? Yeah. All right. JJ Hamza, what's up, man? Good to see you, bud. Curly Norman's here. Yeah, man. Good evening to you. Blaze is here. I know those stats, dude. Mutt Viles, who just won the green beanie from the Talking Jets wheel of hopes and dreams on the previous stream. How you doing, my friend? Who do we re-sign back to this team? I really don't want to lose Sherwood. Well, he's way at the top of the list, isn't he? Jamie Sherwood, a mid-round pick, converted safety to linebacker, tore his Achilles his rookie year, and just worked his ass off through special teams and backing up CJ Mosley and gets his shot and makes good. And it would really be a shame to lose him, dude. But it's an interesting scenario. It's not a regular free agency where he's concerned because the two guys that developed him, both linebackers, coaches, and their hearts, right? You got Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, and Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. There's going to be, in my opinion, I would be blown away if both teams weren't in the Jamie Sherwood sweepstakes. So it's unfortunate. If they want him, they got to make it a priority and get him. Mumtaz, dude, good to see you, man. Good old Mumtaz checking in. GreenBean, we are going to rebuild with no quarterback and not in position to draft one. And quarterback talent is not even there in this draft. And all coaches are first-timers. We're going to be lost for a while. Well, here, I know, dude. And that was, as we did this whole coaching search thing and GM search, you guys know, for all the excitement for lots of different guys, whether it's Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn or whatever, I was really stuck in the mindset of I want experience. I want someone who has made their mistakes before, has had some success in the NFL as a head coach, has some space between when they were a head coach, if they failed, and come on in here with a head full of learned from my mistakes. That's what I wanted. And we didn't get it. And there were better GM, more qualified GM candidates, in my opinion. I thought they should have threw the bag at Borgonzi. I mean, again, you got the team 3 straight Super Bowls. Why can't we get that friggin' guy? Why can't we get the guy a part of the team that's been in 3 consecutive Super Bowls, 3 AFC championships in a row? AFC champion, 3. Why can't we ever get that guy? Instead, we got Muji, who I didn't even know was in the mix. Maybe he's great. I don't know. I do like that they got Spielman with them. That softens that for me. And Aaron Glenn, the only thing that softens it is that he's a former Jet, right? We love Aaron Glenn. If you were around when he played, you know the deal. He was legit. He was one of our best players ever, without question. He's a top 2 or 3 cornerback in our history. I mean, in my opinion, it's Revis, Glenn, Hasty. That's the way it goes for me. And we've had Cromartie's in that conversation. And then once you get back before my time, I can't speak too much to those guys. I'm sure we had some good ones. But, I've been around a long time. I've been around. This was my 42nd or 41st or 42nd year. It was the 82. This was my 42nd year of Jets fandom. And I've seen a lot of guys. James Hasty, Aaron Glenn, Darrelle Revis, and Cromartie are at the top of the heap for me. But yeah, man, I mean, look, we got a lot of holes. And the hope is that Aaron Glenn can come in. He's a former Jet, so we love him. But he can come in and he has the thing we've been missing around here for a long time. Even back with Bolt. Like, don't forget. We have Robert Saleh, no discipline, none. Whatever he preached, all gas, no brakes. It was all bullshit. He made a fantastic defense here, and the offense was a complete joke the entire time he was here. No discipline, no accountability. Adam Gase, ridiculous. Greg Williams' side of the ball, there was some, but the Adam Gase regime was a joke. Todd Bowles, don't forget, man, that's the regime that Geno Smith had his jaw broken in the locker room, and we had to trade Sheldon Richardson because him and Brandon Marshall were fighting. Remember all that? So like that, there has not been discipline here. Who was before Bowles? Rex. I mean, I don't know. Could you call Rex discipline, accountability? I don't know. Rex had his positives, but so Aaron Glenn's going to bring that here. So that's the positive. But dude, we're looking at once again a reboot of the formula, which is rookie coach, rookie GM, no quarterback. That's what we do. It's what we do. So I don't know, but I have hope because we have Garrett Wilson, we have Breece Hall, we have Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner and Quincy Williams. And I mean, there's a lot of guys here that in those previous examples of this formula, this reboot thing that we keep doing, is rebuilding. You look at those teams, those rosters, and they didn't have these guys. So we were talking about like truly from scratch. And we have 4/5 potentially, if we re-sign Morgan Moses, we have our offensive line. So that's another one. Dude, the offense goes as the offensive line goes. We all know that. And this offensive line was playing well. I'd like to see him open some more holes a little bit better. But having, we don't give offensive lines the opportunity to play with each other for more than half a season. When's the last time that we had an offensive line intact and came back the next year and those same 5 guys were the starting 5? It just hasn't happened for a long time before Joe Douglas. I mean, Mike McCagnon's teams were doing the same shit too. He was signing free agents every year. Kelechi Osemele, Giacomini. You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy. So I don't know. I think it's definitely a reboot, but I think there's reason to have a little bit more faith in maybe some other years that we did this. And on top of that, not only is it a rookie coach, it's a rookie defensive fucking coach. Like, we got to do the same shit. It's what we do, man. You think, the other, through another lens, it's like, well, we keep trying. You keep throwing the darts at it's got to work one of these times. I think Aaron Glenn has the makeup of a guy that can be the difference. But again, he wasn't like top defense in the NFL for the Super Bowl team. Like, our coach lost in the divisional round and his defense looked like shit. Now you can say injuries and blah, 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 all the stuff, right? All the reasons. But, and his quarterback threw 3 interceptions in that game, so that doesn't help. But still, we have the GM from a team that lost in the wild card, I think it was, and a fucking coach from a team that lost in the division. Like, we never go for the big guy. You just go for the guy. You get Borgonzi. Like, when Vrabel was in the house, you should have locked the fucking doors. He said, no, dude, what do you need? $15 million a year and an 8-year contract? That's what you got. You want to pick your own GM? That's what you do. You're our guy. And if not him, Flores, you can win Kingsbury. Mike McCarthy got cut. Like, Mike McCarthy, as unexciting maybe as it is, he had 3 years in Dallas. 2 of those years were 12-win seasons, man. Like, you know what I mean? So, anyway. JJ Hamsa gifting a StreamBeaner membership. Thank you, buddy. Who got it? Let me see who got it here. Flight Right, you are the proud recipient of a StreamBeaner membership from the great JJ Hamsa. There it goes. Thank you for the support, fellas. Oh, and look at Flight Right. I realized it already and said thank you. What a nice fella. Gratitude, everybody. I like to see that. Who said, hey, Green Bean? What's up, Flatbush Drake? Hey to you. Good to see you, bud. Right, Tony? Hasty was a badass, and he was physical and strong. And like, it was like Hasty, Brian Washington. Though that was a good defensive backfield. Who was the other guy? I don't know. I gotta look. I start to mix it up when I go back. My memory's not what it was, guys. I remember a lot of shit. But anyway, so let me talk about this. So I want to remind you guys of the fantastic offer from the Great Bet US. We're almost at the end of the season, guys. I mean, the season's over, but February's it. This is like the end, right? We head into the combine and everything. You can still move your luck into other areas with the Great Bet US. They're offering you still a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000, all by using the promo code YouTube150. And that'll also get you a 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000. They're America's favorite sports book, guys. And that's for good reason. After football, I'm moving over to darts. I keep telling you. Got to get in the darts world. Bowling, swimming, politics. You can bet on everything. And it's a great place. So BetUS, YouTube 150, everybody. Thank you to BetUS for hanging out with us here at the After Hours Jets Fest. Dante checking in. What do you think of Beningo saying you're not a real Jets fan if you wanted Aaron Rodgers gone? I'm like, okay, Beningo, time to go to bed. I mean, are you not a real? I mean, here's the parameters of Jets fandom. I'm going to tell you a secret. Okay. There's like, and I'm an Alcoholics Anonymous. They say there's one requirement for membership to AA, and that's a desire to stop drinking. That's it. Everything else gets nuts. Oh, listen, you're not doing it right. Everybody argues. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. The Jets fandom, the only desire for membership to the Jets fan club is you want the Jets to win. That's it. That's my team. I hope they win. So tell Beningo to pound salt. I think anybody who says that shit, you're not a real fan. Like you guys know, at the end of every season, we do the same cyclical thing, right? At the end of every fucking year, we do the same thing, which is this: tank or win. Meaningless games. Now, every year, I am on the side of I root until there's nothing to root, until we're eliminated from playoff contention. Then I want to lose because my focus shifts to how can we improve this team. All right. Now, there's been a handful of seasons, like when we had a young quarterback and a young core. We got a young quarterback, young wide receivers, and and you want them to kind of, start to play well and kind of something to build off of, right? So you win some games at the end of the year, you feel good going into the offseason. I get that. But generally speaking, I'm on Team Tank because when the draft comes around, I hate the idea. And then we do this. Should we trade up? And I'm like, well, we wouldn't have had to. If we would have just lost those games, that didn't mean anything, right? But then we get into the argument. Some people say, if you're rooting for losses, you're not a real fan. Well, I've been here for 42 years, so I'd say I'm fucking pretty real, right? A pretty real fan, dude. Every Sunday for the last 42 years, I've been in one place, by and large, watching losing football. Been in the same place, right here with you, watching the same garbage over and over. So it doesn't matter what my requirements are for you to be a fan. The only requirement is that you're here and you hope your team wins. That's it. Everything else is just people being buttholes, which Joe Beningo is very good at. He's a loudmouth butthole. We all know that, but he's a Jets fan. He's just one of us. We're insufferable. The only fan base that's got us beat is the Eagles fans. You know what I mean? Like they're a whole different level of insufferable. They're the worst, but they make us look good. But by everybody else's standards, we're out of control. You know what I mean? So it's like, I wouldn't get too caught up. That's what I think. I think Beningo's going to say what he says. He's thinking what he's talking with his emotions. You're not a real fan if you wanted Aaron. Well, okay. Well, Aaron Rodgers, has given us the best, statistically, the best quarterback play we've seen in a while. But we know what was real. We know that we were down in those games. You were just throwing the ball around, and a lot of it's in garbage time, and a lot of it's dump offy shit to Breece Hall, and he's running for 30 yards. And I mean, it's fine. It is what it is. Like, look, not other quarterbacks couldn't do it, so you got to give it the proper credit that it deserves. But dude, we had 5 wins with him. And there were many games where he looked like garbage. He had tons of career lows with the Jets, whether it's, first quarter interceptions in a game, no touchdown. Like the first game with no touchdown was with the Jets. Like all that, we got all those stats covered while he was here. So it's, he got his hand-picked offensive coordinator. He had his hand-picked wide receivers, last year and, the 2 years ago and last year. He had Cobb here. He had Lazard here. He had Devontae Adams here. I mean, we gave him all the stuff. We gave him everything he needed, that he wanted. It's time to go. It's like, you get to gain 20-something million dollars with a June 1st cut. It's like, okay, you got to think about the whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I'm sad. I'm sad by it. I was kind of hoping that he would stay. I wanted to run it back. Get another wide receiver, or just keep Devontae Adams, get Malachi Corley into the damn mix, and get rid of Lazard. Replace him with a draft pick, Tet McMillan. Let's plug the defensive hole. Get some damn safeties. Get a defensive tackle. And let's fucking rock. I wanted to see it happen, but it's not, and I get it. Yoits! What's up, Yoits? Good to see you, Vin. Despite the perpetual rebuilding, and thank you for the super chat, the StreamBeaner membership, the support for 20 months, man. I appreciate you. Despite the perpetual rebuilding and heartbreaking every year, I still love how our fan base is still loyal. Let's fucking go. Right, man. That's the thing you got to get. That's what I say all the time. It's like, dude, we're all in pain. People handle pain differently. But damn, you got to give it. Think about like this team. Since Woody, I bring this up often, right? He bought it for $625 million. It's worth $6.5 billion. This team should be worth nothing. By the product, any company that you open, if you have just a failing product perpetually, you fail consistently, you should not be making as much successful profit margins as they do. They should be broke, but it's because of us. So we are loyal. We are here all the time. We pack the stadium. All it takes is one win. We could lose 4 or 5 games in a row. One win, and we're talking playoffs. We're talking about running the table. We are incredibly passionate. We're the best. Like we've been through, dude, we don't just lose. It's not like every year we just suck and we go in there and we have a good, we go out for Sunday with the kids and we watch the game and we know what it is and we just kind of eat hot dogs and we have some fun. That's not what it is. It's hype and news and big moves and every year we lose in the most ridiculous ways out of any team in the league consistently. We've done it forever. Like I like to bring up one great stat is that we are among the bottom of the league every year, yet we have not gotten the Golden Goose, which is the first overall pick in the draft since 1997, dude. It's almost 30 years. Think about that. We have sucked for most of that time. And every year we're among the bottom, right? This year we're the 7th. We're the 10th, we're the 4th, we're the 2nd, we're the 8th, whatever it might be. But we don't get the Golden Goose because we're so bad that we can't even do that right. Quarterbacks getting their jaw broken in the locker room, butt fumbles. You know what I mean? Like nobody else has this shit. Every year they show the butt fumble anniversary. Why is that the most fucking famous play in sports? Why do we got to see that every year? You know what I mean, Yoitz? Paris, I hope I don't lose as a Jets fan like Joe Beningo did on his reaction to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I know. Hennessy checking in. I'm with you. Do you see, thank you for the support, buddy. You know I love you. Do you see Muji being aggressive and moving up or down in the draft? Is this a retooling? We need to stack up draft picks, right? What would you do? Well, I think he would love to move down. I'm telling you, this draft is not really top heavy. Like last year's draft was top heavy. Remember that? Like the first 10 picks were, just rock stars. This year, it's not to say that they're not going to be good players, but as far as that like allure, that star power blue chip potential, it's just not here. So trading up in this draft, if he is aggressive and trades up in this draft, I'm going to question who he is. Now, I would still root that it worked and that it was the right move and all that jazz, but how many times do we see it with our GMs? They make stupid moves. Right? Look, I can do this to you guys. You want to take a second? Let me show you. We'll start this next week. But this is the I won't play the whole thing, but I'll play you some of this. This is just a reminder, okay? I'm going to play you the intro to the Monday Night Mock real quick. I got to update these intros, but anyway, this is good. So just watch. This will remind you like what we're used to. So if we trade up in this draft, it's going to be reminiscent of this.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8.
Johnny Lamb Jones. Wide receiver. As a season ticket holder of the Jets, I'm going to fool Ken O'Brien of California Davis.
Obviously, the Jets know something that, the people up there don't.
Fullback. Hello. Roger Vick. Jeff Lageman.
Jets just don't understand the draft all back.
Blair Thomas, running back, Penn State. Johnny Mitchell. The New York Jets select tight end from Penn State, Kyle Brady. Vernon Ghost.
You know what I mean? Oh, God. So it's like, you see those comments. Obviously, the Jets know something that the people up here don't. I'm tired of that shit. I'm tired of hearing that one. I'm tired of it. Our moves, the stuff that we suggest by the way, like my draft boards, you want to know what teams look the most like my drafts? The Kansas City Chiefs, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Ravens. Those are where my players are, most of them. Every year, I watch the Chiefs do and the Ravens do what I would have done. I'm just so sick of it. I'm sick of being told that Jets fans don't know. The Jets obviously know. Dude, the Jets have proven that they know nothing. That's why, look, I'm with it, like with letting go of Joe Douglas. You had 6 years, 5 drafts. You know what I mean? Like it's enough. We've never gotten past seven wins with your teams. And it's largely because of free agency and all that shit. But like he has kind of changed that culture of not hitting on our firsts and seconds. The last couple of years, he's even hit on our second round picks. So it's like, we forget how bad it was. Like you saw Mel Kiper. Obviously, the Jets have no idea what the draft is even about. They don't get it. Because we never have a football mind as the director of football operations. It's always been a businessman, which is why the organization went from $625 million to $6.5 billion while sucking, because their focus is business. They know how to keep us engaged. Winning is secondary. I believe they want to win, but it's secondary. The bottom line, baby. Here's another one from Hennessy. He says, wait till Dart's pro day. I know, dude. Dude, you're nailing it. Jackson Dart is going to do that corner fucking fade in shorts, and people are going to masturbate. and he's going to shoot up the draft boards. Dude, that's the comment of the night for me so far. Somebody might beat you, but that is a slam dunk. You guys see it. Zach Wilson, JJ McCarthy. You see it every year. Somebody does it in shorts. Like you have 3 years of tape on the guy. And then he goes into a pro day and throws a beautiful fade. And everybody goes nuts. He runs around in shorts at the combine. And everybody goes, oh my God, look how fast. You can't teach speed. Like, yeah. So I tell you guys all the time, I get it. I'm all about traits and speed and agility, of course. But I like football players. Give me a football player. My teams, if I made a team, would be packed full of guys that would die on the field. That's what I want. There's not one prima donna. I'm like, nope. Go somewhere else. I want animals. And I do that. Of course, the combine is I love the combine. But it's like the combine just separates the pool I have. There's very few players that I wasn't liking before the combine, that anything they've done at the combine changes my mind. What the combine does for me is it refines my pool. Like if I got 3 guys that are animals on the field, now I can see how agile they are, what they really got in that department. You know what I mean? That can separate, you can see. But these guys, like there are people, you see it every year. There are guys we love before the combine. They run a slow 40 and he drops 3 rounds. I'm like, okay. Happens every year. Ulysses Gonzalez checking in. What's up, man? How about Daniel Jones? I don't know. I never liked Daniel Jones. Not for 5 minutes. Remember when he ran? This is not indicative of who he is, but remember when he was running down the field? He's got some good legs. And he's running for the touchdown. He fell on his fucking face. Remember that? I was like, yep. There he is. I don't know. If I'm going to do that, see, like Daniel Jones to me, like I understand why you're saying it, but I'd rather just go with Tyrod Taylor and Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis, guys. Jordan Travis is a very talented player. If that injury heals, we might have our quarterback. And I know a lot of people don't like him. Dom C hates his throwing motion. It's all legit, but that's why I don't love our quarterback coach. I want to be able to develop these guys. Like, I just don't know why we can't get a former quarterback to be our quarterback coach ever. Why can't we do that? You know what I mean? Like Detroit has Brunell as their quarterback coach. The Vikings, they got McCown. Like, why can't we do that? Why do we got to go get a running backs coach who was a running back and then make him our quarterback? Like, I don't know. It's like, it's so vital. It's so vital. That's why, like, I don't know, man. It's like, that would be a priority to me. The guy coaching my quarterback, I want to develop a young quarterback. I want to give him the best possible chance at success. I'm going to give him a former NFL quarterback or a guy who's all he's ever done. You know what I mean? Quarterbacks, he's been like, maybe he's been a wide receivers coach coming up. Maybe he even been a running back coach coming up, but he's been a quarterback coach for years. That's who I want. Somebody I believe, if this kid is on the precipice, he needs work. He's got the skills. He needs refinement. I want to believe that my guy can do it. But Jordan Travis has all the trimmings, man. He's dual threat, strong arm. I don't know. He's exciting. That injury. So I'd love to see Tyrod Taylor start the season for 5-6 games and then make it the Jordan Travis show. I'd much rather that than waste my time with Daniel Jones, who I feel, Ulysses, is just, he's never going to be a good starting quarterback in the NFL. The Giants just threw him in the garbage, and they're paying him. You know what I mean? That says a lot. And Dable is a good quarterback coach. He's a good offensive mind. He said, this guy sucks. And they chose him over Barkley, which is not smart. Not smart at all. They should have drafted Jaden Daniels, and they would have had Jaden Daniels and Barkley. Kept Barkley, and then you got some building. But look, Malik Neighbors is a stud, but he's already talking about wanting to be traded. At least that's the rumor. Double R checking in. In my opinion, we're taking Aaron Rodgers for granted. We've had shit quarterback for so long, Hall of Famer on the team, and we're so eager to run him out of time. I hear you. We will regret it. I don't know if we'll regret it, but I hear you. It's the scenario, dude. Like, I think that there are Jets fans that take it for granted. But we have to remember, Matt O'Leary brought it up in the last stream. The Jets were second in pass attempts last year in the entire NFL. So it's hard not to get 3,900 yards when you're second in the league in pass attempts, right? We had 5 wins, and Aaron Rodgers was part of the problem. Like, let's be clear. Let's not have revisionist history. It wasn't all his fault, but he was a significant part of the problem this year. He had his moments, but there were games when I was like, dude, sit this guy. He was too proud. He was injured and wouldn't sit down, and the team was too weak to sit him. There was nobody in the house more powerful than him. Certainly not Saleh. Definitely not Ulbricht. Nobody would bench him. Nobody would say, dude, you're going to sit down for 2 weeks. You're hurt. You're playing like shit, and you're hurt. So nobody would do that. And he's getting older. He's going to be 41 and 42 years old this year. So he's not going down. Like, the idea that he's going to improve, he had Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Breece Hall. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where's he going to go that's better? And he was essentially running the offense. Essentially. So, like, I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's possible he goes to if he goes to the Niners or something, you got Kyle Shanahan. You got a real offensive mind out there. They're running the West Coast offense. You know what I mean? So he's got weapons after weapons. Debo and Ayuk and, everybody else. McCaffrey, Kittle. So if that kind of scenario takes place, but if he goes to a team like, the Raiders or something like that, well, they got what's his name? Brock Bowers out there, but he doesn't like the tight ends. But if he treats them like a wide receiver, a different story. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's a lot there. Plus, you got to think of, you have to think of the money, right? If we kept him for 1 year, his dead cap next year is $69 million, I think it is. That's crazy for a guy who's going to be 43. So, like, I hear you, dude, but there's a lot of other pieces to that. And, like, you got a new regime. You got a young offensive. We're hoping that this it's the first time we took a swing at, like, a real young offensive coordinator. Not really. We had LaFleur, but he got run out of town. But, like, it's time for the Jets to have a 21st century offense, like ground and pound. You know what I mean? Like, all right, man, it's not 1986. So in order for that to happen, you can't have Aaron Rodgers here because he's not going to play ball. And he's too powerful, and he's on McAfee, and he's talking shit about his offense. He's throwing comments about this young kid he's got to listen to. He has never done it before. You know what I mean? There's just too much there, man. It's just, you got to do it. So I hear you, but I do agree with the move when I'm not emotional about it. You know what I mean? If they were going to run it back with everybody, if they never fired Saleh and just said, okay, we're going to give this regime until Aaron Rodgers is done, this is our crew, and just try to fix if you're going to do that, you got Devontae Adams, and you know what I mean? Like, okay, if you're going to do that, then that's the way to do it. You can't with the new regime because he's not going to play ball. He's not. JJ Hamza also joins the Stream Beaners. Thanks, buddy. That's 2 from JJ Hamza tonight. I appreciate you, man. And look, and we get the Swamp Ranger. We get to the articles about Aaron Rodgers can stop. You know, like what you really want for a new regime is you want quiet. You don't want all this noise. You don't want all the stuff. You don't want the headlines. You want quiet. You want to slink back into 1 p.m. Sunday football games, right? We don't even want 4 o'clocks. You know, if we got to go to the West Coast, fine. I want no Monday Night Football. I don't want any Sunday Night Football. I don't want Thursday. I don't want anything. Just let us play at 1 p.m. on Sundays. Let us sit over here in our little corner of the world and build a fucking football team. You know what I mean? Without all the hard knocks and the Monday nights. You know, think about, dude, we had 3 games in the first 10 games of the season. 10 days of the season last year. 2 of them were primetime games. 1 Monday night, 1 Thursday night. And they we were first 2 games away. Like they set us up. But it's like, it's all the noise. It's all the lights. We don't need the lights, Swamp Ranger, right? Get Diana Rossini out of here. Go pay attention to somebody else. Aaron Rodgers, wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, she's going to write articles about him. She hates him. Paris checking in. What about Jameis Winston for 1 season? He's only 30 and could be like Vinny Testaverde did with the Jets. But yeah. I'll tell you what. I wouldn't hate it, but you can't have the highest of expectations. But that's funny because it's a great comparison, Vinny Testaverde, because Vinny Testaverde was known as the chokester, right? Knew exactly when to throw the pick 6. He had a reputation for throwing interceptions. Now, Jameis Winston, though, is even more so. Like, he's got the year with 33 touchdowns and 33 interceptions. Last year, he had like 20 touchdowns and 18 interceptions, something like that. Like, the guy, he's gonna be fun. He's running around. He's tossing the rock. He's exciting. He's got a great personality. I love Jameis Winston. Like, he's a fun guy. I think the clubhouse would like him, but he's going to ruin your day. And you got to know that going. But maybe if we have a good offensive staff that could trim it down and contain him, maybe you get that. That's a great example, Vinny Testaverde. But I don't know. I wouldn't be upset if they went out and got Jameis Winston. But to have a stable of Jameis Winston, Tyrod Taylor, and Jordan Travis. But again, I want to see Jordan Travis. That's kind of what I want. Like, Tyrod Taylor can win you some games. He's a good kind of middle of the road guy. And he can be exciting too. And then, like, again, I'd love to see Jordan Travis just get the reins. And like next year, if we suck and everything, next year's quarterback class is looking to be much, much stronger. So you can just kind of focus on that. See if you got your guy. And if not, then you got a better crop next year. You know? That's my preferred. But I wouldn't hate Jameis Winston. He's fun. Look at Dom C. First of all, he didn't miss on Mimsy. We fucking ruined Mimsy. He was a fragile, introverted kid that we tough loved and made the road harder than we needed to. He did great with Gase. He did great in college. He hit the solid brick wall, the solid non-developmental offense, and we ruined him. But even if you can say that, right? So Mims is a bust, no doubt. So what I was saying, though, is that the Jets for 20 years didn't hit on a second-round pick, right? It was crazy. Whether it's Devin Smith or, Alex Van Dyke or Yarborough, whoever you want to take. We missed on second-round picks for years and years and years and years and years. And the last couple, Joe Tippmann and Brees, I'd say are hits, right? But last year we didn't have one. We had Tippmann, and then last year we didn't have one, right? So I'm saying like he at least 2 years in a row he's hitting on our firsts. And Becton, by the way, not a hit for us because of the solid non-developmental offense where we come here and players regress offensively. The only player who hasn't is Garrett Wilson and Tippmann. Everybody else regresses here. You know, you look at Max Mitchell, Carter Warren, Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims. Like these guys, they just come here and they all of a sudden, they can't fucking play. And it's too consistent for me to ignore it. Name, again, I brought it up a couple weeks ago. Give me the one player that they actually developed, and then we can have a conversation. They had 5 drafts. Give me the player they developed offensively. He's not there. Tippmann, you could say, because he had the high snap thing, you can say that they worked that out and they developed him. There's not a single player we developed. Garrett Wilson came and just was Garrett Wilson. He's a top 10 pick. That's what they're supposed to do. Name me a player that didn't regress here offensively. Even great players. Like Laken Tomlinson comes here, has the worst 2 years of his whole career. Tyron Smith had more sacks in 5 games than he had in the last 5 years. Now, you know, older. But like who comes here and is better? Brown, the other tackle, never injured his whole career, comes here 4 days here. He tore his rotator cuff. You know, it's like, I don't know. Mr. Forte checking in. What's up, buddy? Only way I'm trading up is if I want a quarterback early in the second round, I'd sneak back in the first for that 5th-year option you get. Yeah, I mean, look, let's say that the Jets really like, you know, just as an example, a Milroe. Okay, like you don't see Cam Ward, Sanders as much better, or like you don't have the capital to go up in anyway. But you really like Milroe as your developmental guy. Maybe they don't like Jordan Travis, and they're like, we're not going to put much energy into him. We'll keep him around as a practice squad guy, whatever. But we want a developmental guy, and it's Milroe, and he makes it to the back end of the first. And you want to use your 4th-round pick to jump up a few picks into the first and get your quarterback. If that's their what they want to do, I support that. And you let him sit for half the year behind Tyrod Taylor, or even the whole year if it does that, you know? I'm not anti that. I just don't want to see us sell the future. Like if you're going to trade up from 7 to 1, this crazy plan in a year that the quarterbacks aren't even that exciting, that's a fool's errand to me. And it just shows it shows like immaturity for the GM. Like, I want to make a big splash. I want to get my quarterback, and we're going to run him out there. Like, if you trade up to the 1st-round pick and you give up next year's first, and the next year you give up our second, like, you're just ruining it. And then you got to play them. So then we're doing the same. Now we got a rookie coach, rookie GM, rookie quarterback, savior. And, you know, it's like, I just can't. I'll root for it, but I just can't. But the thing you're suggesting, if a quarterback you really like, Jackson Dart, Milroe, one of those guys makes it to the back end of the first, you can sneak up 4 or 5 picks. Okay. If that's what you want to do. Okay. Yeah. What's up, Jeremy? Good to see you. That was funny. Jeremy had a great comment mid-season this year, maybe earlier in the season. It was funny. He said, and I'll paraphrase Jeremy. But Jeremy said, it's so sad. You know, it went from how long do you think we get to have Aaron Rodgers to how long are we stuck with this guy? You know, a lot of Jets fans. Because I can tell you, there were stretches this season when it was just like, oh, my God, he's abysmal. He's afraid to throw over the middle. He's tentative. He's holding the ball. He's throwing more picks than he's usually some. I mean, dude, he threw pick sixes. Like, look, just what was that? The Seattle Seahawks game alone. He missed Garrett Wilson wide open in the end zone. Missed him. It was a pitch and catch. Missed him. The next play, he throws a pick six. To who? Leonard fucking Williams. And that's a 14-point swing, and we lost the game. So like, again, like, I'm with the Arab, the people who didn't want to see him go. I'm actually in that camp. I was hoping that we could keep the dream alive. Right? I was. But if you're looking at it objectively, man, it's pretty easy to see why. And there were long stretches this year. He was a big part of the problem, guys. He wasn't like playing lights out football, even though the end of the season statistics might look like it. He wasn't playing lights out ball and was betrayed by everybody. He was part of the problem. There was Zerline. There was the defense. Of course, there's all other pieces. Like Devontae Adams just needed to not go out of bounds the one game. We could have won that one. There's all kinds of fun stuff. But, that was great. That was a great comment, Jeremy. Bearded checking in with his Streambeaner super chat. Don't forget, guys, if you want to support the channel, the join button's right below the video, and you can support the channel, but you also get free super chats every month, access to the emojis and private content, which is nice. But I so appreciate you, Bearded. Trade back in the first to pick up another second. Trade back in the first, right. And then you can go after Milrow or Dart in the second. Otherwise, we have too many needs right now. Look, I am all about a trade back. This is the perfect, if Tet McMillan is not there at 7, if he's there at 7, I'm staying and I'm grabbing him. Pairing him with Garrett Wilson, I think, gives whoever the quarterback is some real wide receiver talent. Young, hours, But if he's not there, I'm all about a trade back. I would trade all the way back. I'm not afraid to trade back into the 30s. I'm really not. 29, 30. I'm not afraid of it this year. Give me an extra first next year. Give me an extra second this year, whatever it is that I got to, give me a second, an additional second this year. So I got that, that first, second, and then give me an extra first and third next year, first and second next year, something like that. Give me that. I'm good this year. But who the fuck is anybody trading up for, Bearded? That's the question. Who's trading up from 25 to 7? Who's worth giving you next year's first? It's a tough sell. So I'm with it. I support it. I like it. I don't see it. Double R checking back in. In prison, you beat up the toughest guy to assert yourself. Right. AG should have kept AR to show the rest of the team that he can reel him in and he's the leader of the team. Well, he did one better. He said, hey, this guy's not untouchable. I don't even want him around. Get the fuck out of my house. Now, he didn't do it like that, of course. But he came in. He's been here for a month or whatever it is. And he said, the biggest name in the building, I got rid of him. Nobody's bigger than this team. Because what the scenario you're presenting, yes, it would be great if he can. The problem is, what it would more than likely be is just a year worth of fighting and petty comments because he's on McAfee every week. He's got a mouthpiece, dude. He's got a microphone. So if you're going to attempt to reel him in and piss him off, Aaron Rodgers is not one to keep his lip zipped. So you're going to have that scenario more likely than reeling him in. I mean, look, best case scenario rarely happens here. Can we at least agree on that? So what you're talking about is what we would call best case scenario. Aaron Glenn, a rookie head coach who's never done this before, from the defensive side of the ball, can come here and reel in one of the largest personalities in the entire NFL. If not the largest personality in the NFL. Once Antonio Brown left. You know, who's got a bigger mouth than Aaron Rodgers? So I think it's a little too risky. Scott Foster, right on, dude. Glad you agree with me. Preach, preach, preach. That's me, Mr. Preacher. Thanks, buddy. Jolt Music checking in. What's up, bud? If Glenn learned anything in Detroit, it's to beef up the trenches before any splash moves and stay tough, competitive on the way. I think he tries out Cousins, Fields, Tyrod on the cheap for now. I would not be surprised to see Justin Fields end up here. I would not be surprised to see Kirk Cousins. I would not be surprised to see Derek Carr. But the only thing that that is important to me is that they have to believe that this person they're bringing in, if it's Fields, Cousins, or whoever, that it's a better scenario and provides more potential to win games than the guy you already have and has been a part of this team for a year, and that's Tyrod Taylor. He's already here. So are you improving greatly by bringing Cousins in here at his advanced age? He looked pretty good last year. Got hurt, but he's coming off an injury now, right? You know what I mean? Like, so you're going to get him cheap. If they cut Derek Carr, you'd get him cheap too. But I don't know. But your other point is the smartest way to do it. Football is won and lost in the trenches. And we have some skill. We have some other nice players. Right? We have some nice players on this team, more talent than we're used to in a rebuild. So if you beef up, you make sure you're right. So like what they should do is re-sign Morgan Moses and then use a third, fourth round pick on a right tackle. Let Morgan Moses start the season, develop this kid. And if you need him, he's ready to go. Hopefully they can put some more effort, some time into Max Mitchell and or Carter Warren too, because I liked both of those guys coming out. Carter Warren, I didn't know much about. I liked Max Mitchell a lot coming out. I knew he needed development. I knew he needed at least a year, put on some strength. I knew it, but I liked him. He has looked worse since being a Jet. Looked good at guard when we had that 4 tackles on the offensive line game. Remember that? What a fun season. 4 tackles on the offensive line, no guards. Incredible. So, but dude, you just sign Morgan Moses, use a third or fourth on your offensive, on your right tackle, get him in here. And then you got 2 5ths and 2 6ths. I think 1 5th should be used on a kicker. If not your 5th, your 6th. I say use your 5th, get the best kicker in the country and end that shit. Get a kicker in here for the next 4 years. I know Zerline's under contract. You got to figure that shit out. Use your 5th on one of the 5ths on a kicker, but you use a 5th and a 6th on the fucking fattest guys you can find for the defensive line. That's 2 gap and space eaters for me. That's what you do. That's what you do. Or if you're going to use, so you use a 5th. If you're going to wait till the 6th for a kicker, and I think you should do it, you use one of your 5ths on a tight end, which there's going to be quality in the 5th for tight ends, I think. And then you get me my tackles. That's what you do. You get the just snarlers. Guys, they're like, he's got no athleticism, but he can't be moved. That's the guy I want. He just can't be moved. He eats up the space. You just can't move him. He's too fucking big. He's too strong. He's too fat. His low center of gravity. He's got great big calves. I say to Dom all the time, I'm like, ass, hands, and feet. That's what I look at with my linemen. What does their ass look like? Let me see their ass. That's why J.C. Latham last year, finest ass and calves in the entire draft. Oh, what an ass he had. Mwah. I'm a caveman, but that's the way to do it, Jolt. And I hope that Aaron Glenn subscribes to that. I fear, this is my fear, that he's going to want a cornerback in the first. That's my fear. I don't want it. Now, if, let's say Tet McMillan is gone. I brought this up in another stream, maybe with Tigo. I forget. But let's say that Tet McMillan's not there at 7 and there's no trade partners. What I think you have to do is pivot to, premium position, quarterback, wide receiver, left tackle, cornerback, that kind of thing. I think you got to take the best player on the board at one of your positions of need. Those positions of need are going to be tight end, defensive tackle, which I don't want. I don't like a defensive tackle in the first. So let's say tight end, safety, linebacker. That's what you're looking at. Tight end, safety, linebacker. 3 positions that most Jets fans are not going to want to see taken in the first. But you got to do it. We have no safeties on this team. None. Chuck Clark's gone. Ashton Davis is gone. Tony Adams is gone. I mean, they might re-sign Tony Adams. I don't know. But there's no safeties to speak of on this team. What's his name? Oliver, gone. So you grab Malachi Starks and you get a nice, hard-hitting, ball-hawking safety. Or you get Tyler Warren, a big pass-catching tight end, good blocker too. Or you get Jihad Campbell, fucking knock your face off linebacker. And you know what I mean? And you just fill one of your needs with the best player you can. That's the way to do it. I think you got to pay attention to the trenches, but you got to be smart too. Sauce has been great. Sauce, I saw there was an interview with him recently where didn't get any fanfare, but he showed up at the Jets facility. He went on his own volition to hang out with Aaron Glenn. You know what I mean? He went in on his own time. Dude, Sauce is the real deal, guys. I know he had a rough season, but don't forget, he got hurt week 1. He was playing banged up all year. All year. How many times we see him go and sit, he had to sit, a quarter out or, a couple drives when he comes back in. He was playing banged up all year, and it was a weird year. His head coach is fired. You know what I mean? So he had an off year. It's fine. He had 2 All-Pros. He's a young, talented player. Sauce he's got a great makeup. He's very likable, in addition to being just incredibly talented. The mobility and agility that a guy his size has is rare. Right, Wild Wave. Sauce went in there and met everybody. Spent time, he said he spent the most time with Steve Wilkes. He wanted to sit down with his new defensive coordinator. Like that, I mean, that says a lot, man. Yeah, so people are talking, this is a great point. And Dom was talking to me about this recently too. Like Will Campbell is, let me see. I think he's like kind of considered in many people's boards. I just want to see where these guys have him. Like the top offensive line, right? Offensive tackle. It's a Campbell, Banks, Simmons, right? Last year, he's tackle 7 taken. So you'd want to be careful. Like just because he's the top tackle in this draft doesn't mean he's the guy that you use a top 10 pick on. You got to get the closest you can to actual top 10 talent. You're up there. You got to get a guy with that kind of impact. There's only 6 players taken before him out of the entire class. You got to come away with a guy that's going to make an impact right away. And if he's a guy that needs development, who's going to take a couple years, like you can't use a top 10 pick on him. And I don't know if that's the case per se, but like last year, there were 8 or 9 offensive tackles taken in the first round. He's number 7. Like, think about that. You don't take the 7th best tackle at pick 7, unless there were 6 tackles taken before him, But that's not what you want to do. If there was a Joe Alt sitting there at 7, a different story. So I don't know. Interesting stuff. Wyatt's checking in. He says, if we have a bad quarterback, we need a good line. Love you. I love you, Wyatt. I do love Wyatt. He's one of my absolute favorites. Poor kid from Wyoming, ended up here with us. You know what I mean? Hopefully it pays off for you, buddy. But you're not here at year 42 going, I don't know what I did to deserve this. I hope it changes for you, man. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to be, by the time the draft rolls around, you're going to hear me talking about Malachi Starks all day, every day. I'm loving him. The more I look at him, the more I like him. The more I look at him, the more I like that guy. I just love him. So anyway. All right, what time is it? 11:37. All right, guys, I have a huge day tomorrow, so I'm going to back up and back out of here. It's got a foot. It's still sleeting here, too. I got like over a foot of snow, and it's still sleeting. So, which is the worst, because then it takes a foot of snow and it makes it ice. It's the worst. But anywho, I love you guys. This was fun. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Let me see. Too rich that, well, I'm just saying, like, you know, generally speaking, I'm not a big safety in the first guy. But if you're going to get, in my opinion, the best safety in the draft at a position of extreme need, look, if there's no wide receiver there, we can't go cornerback after Travis Hunter in the first, and up that high, in my opinion. There's going to be no quarterback. There's no left tackle worth it, right tackle worth taking. You're not going to take a running back. I don't want cornerback. You know what I mean? So, like, the wide receiver's gone. So what are you going to do? You gotta pivot. You got to safety. Like, tight end is another one. You got to take a position of need. If you want to go linebacker, Eddie, take a look at Jihad Campbell. I was looking at Demetrius Banks, I think his name is, earlier today. I like him, but not as much. But anywho, like, you can get the best player at a position of need, even if it's a little too rich. Like you said, if it's a slight reach, so what? You still got to get as close to blue chip. The best player at a position is not a bad deal at pick 7. You know what I mean? You get your top player at a position of need. Fine with me. All right, guys, with that all said, have a great night. Don't forget about the great offer from BetUS. 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000, all by using the promo code YouTube150, everybody. I want to ask you to squeeze those milk thumbs on your way out. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. It is greatly appreciated. And with that all said, have a great night. I will see you next time.
I think he's going to be day one, a violent vertical edge setter.
You competing today? I see some gas off the edge. Getting that mindset to put your shoulder on somebody.
Dig, drop, you're finished.